This podcast contains explicit content not suitable for listeners under the age of 18. Parental discretion is advised.
In today's episode, we'll be talking about Holiday Hearts, one of our ongoing campaigns.
So today we're with Heather Owens, one of our board members, as a guest speaker, and we're gonna talk about the Holiday Hearts program. I specifically wanted this to be our first event. I wanted specifically to do Holiday Hearts because I remember what it was like. I used to be in one of those. Like I used to stay in one of those and in one of those shelters where people go when they running from people. And my whole life was running. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, I understand. And I feel like living like that is probably the cause of a lot of harm that I caused myself. I thought living like that was okay, man. It's a cycle. And that's why I wanted to bring Holiday Hearts in to try and bring some way in to get out of the cycle. You know what I mean? So the one shelter in Stanton, New Directions, that's actually the shelter I stayed in when I was a little kid. And I remember when I was there, part of the coolest parts about being there was it was clean. There was plenty of food to eat, and they had toys, right? They had lots of toys to play with. I remember that. But that was kind of like the most peaceful part of my childhood, man, staying in places like that or staying with ministers. We stayed with a minister in a ministry for a while. That was but I look at it from when I was a kid. Like we were there, and I actually found a picture of my mother from around the time I was looking. My brother had sent me some old pictures, and a picture of my mother from around the time we were staying in there. And it was my brother's birthday, and she got the black eye, right? And she's smiling like it. And on the back of the picture, it's like happy birthday and balloons drawn, like it was normal. You know what I mean? For me, it was normal. So, and I grew up with that. And then I grew into a very angry teenager, and I've been on both sides of domestic violence. You know what I mean? I didn't hurt people that for real I shouldn't have hurt. I ain't had no business hurting. And no, I ain't even realized it in my mind. Like I know that it's wrong, but at the same time, I'm like, man, I'm not really thinking about it either. You know what I mean? Like when you grow up watching people get hurt and getting hurt your whole life, man, you don't think about it when you start hurting people, especially as a child. You know what I mean? You grow into adulthood and you hurting people. And it took me really, like literally, I was locked away in prison 14 years. I ain't talked to my daughter, I ain't see her. You know what I mean? I ain't really talked to none of my family while I was in there. It really took me seeing how they might be looking at me. Like, no wonder they ain't talking to me. They was scared of me when I was out there. And it's crazy. It's the people that you love that really be paying the most for it, right? Like we be hurting people, and they the ones that we love the most, right? But then we get mistreated by motherfuckers. Excuse my language. We get mistreated by people, and by people we don't even know, and we don't say nothing. And it kind of got me thinking, like that's kind of crazy, right? What kind of toxic mindset and what kind of vicious cycle are we in that we just abuse the people that we care about, right? And I was in prison with nothing and nobody before I realized I was in the cycle, and it's too late, right? because I might not you know what I mean, I might not have been always physically abrasive or assaultive to anybody, but verbally, somebody once told me that I knew how to word things perfectly where they cut the worst. And then I didn't even realize it. I was in it and didn't even realize it. So me is like, okay, well, what can I do with my organization? Well, I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to break the cycle. I'm talking about the cycles of prison. But what about that same cycle at home, man, where we abusing the people we care about the most, right? So that's where Holiday Hearts came from for me. Let's go in there, let's get these kids an outlet and be like, yo, there are people that do care, even if you don't know them yet. Even if you haven't met those people yet, there are people that care and love you and will treat you good. At least I hope so. But that's my take why I wanted to do Holiday Hearts. So I'm gonna pass it to Jen and let her share her little thing, and then I wanted to get Heather's 2 cents if it's all right.
Well, I was gonna say for me, Holiday Hearts was, because we were kicking around a bunch of different themes in the beginning. But the really big thing was that we just wanted to really help people that needed it the most. You know what I mean? That truly the holidays aren't a time of happiness, right? Because it's kind of like now you're dreading, do I get diapers or do I get gifts? You know what I'm saying? Like when you have to choose between, you know what I mean, like having nothing. And there are, many years where, growing up, my mom told her own story. You can hear it in her video, but she ran over 100 and something times, and every time he found her and he drug her back, you know what I mean? So I'm a child born of domestic violence who was exposed to it and then ended up in that same cycle. So trying to break it, exposing my own child to the same things, if that makes sense. And even though, like, domestic violence doesn't have to always be fists and hands, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it can be the purposeful tearing down of somebody just to control them. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't talk about that side of it either. They talk about the side where they pin them down and they're like, beating the crap out of them. But how many do they talk about where it's like they use the kids? You know what I'm saying? And they create that fear, as a mother, when you have to choose between your child or safety. And that's a real thing, right? So for me, that was why I wanted to lean more towards the orphanages and the children and the violence shelters, is because they are children there being born of violence, being exposed to it. And we're trying to break those cycles for them before it becomes too late.
I know this is a heavy conversation. This is a heavy conversation. But how you feeling? I specifically wanted you to be a part of this conversation, and if you don't mind me saying so, was when I met you, you were in the midst of dealing with your own situation. Like that's how we met. That's how I came to be in your life and came to get to know you and can appreciate your wisdom and your expertise and the things that you can offer to people. So if you don't mind, would you mind sharing a little bit of your story?
Of course. Um, my domestic violence story started back in, I guess, the end of 2010. I was first the victim of a violent attack by a stalker, which left me very vulnerable. I was healing both emotionally and physically, and I was in and out of the hospital. And a well-meaning friend reconnected me with somebody from high school, thinking we'd be a great couple. It turned out I didn't know it because I was involved in my own healing. I didn't realize what was going on. He was an extreme narcissist, very manipulative. He said all the right things. When he realized my story, he figured I'd be easy to control. And at first I was. But when my healing started, I was healing. My healing started taking place. I was getting stronger again, emotionally, mentally, and that bothered him because he couldn't control me as easily. And as time went by, he became more control. He found ways to become more controlling. He isolated me. He gained access to my finances, controlled me financially completely. And then he became very abusive physically. During that time, I gained custody of my infant granddaughter, who's now 7. But she was an infant when it started, and the physical abuse, he as most abusers don't, he didn't keep it away from her. She was, a baby, but she still saw it. They still, even though they're babies, it imprints on them, for lack of a better way to say it. And I realized that she was one day I realized she was in her playpen watching him abuse me physically, throwing me around, pinning me down, pinning me against walls. She was always watching what he was doing. And when she got a little bit older, it's been, let's see, she's 7. It's been 3.5 years now. So she was old enough to know what was going on. She, thankfully did not witness this one, but he strangled me to unconsciousness. And when I came to, I realized that if I didn't get out of that situation, she was going to grow up seeing violence, being traumatized by violence, and it was going to be detrimental to her. She had witnessed it her whole life already. So I had to make a decision, and I had nothing. I was fleeing to he had just strangled me, thrown me down the stairs. I had bruises all over. Interestingly, the police were accidentally involved. I didn't call them. I was afraid to call the police because of past experiences with how he would manipulate the story if the police became involved, and he would make me look like the guilty party. And they call that reactive abuse. But this set of officers, actually, when they showed up unexpected by me, they found me hiding, and they helped me, and they arrested him. And that was my chance to finally get out. But it was hard. I had no finances. I had no place to go. I had been so isolated that he had even controlled me out of all of my friendships. I was out in the middle of the country and just terrified. And I know Jesse remembers that. I think I remember telling you I've got to go stay in basically a roach motel with my granddaughter and my dog. And that's what we did. But it was the best decision for me and for her, because as hard as it was, and as hard as rebuilding our lives have been, it's been worth it. There were no shelters open at that point in time. And where I live, there isn't even a shelter in our county for domestic violence, which is really sad. So, anything for me, sharing my story, it's been a long time coming. I was afraid to share it at first, and this is a big step for me. I started sharing it in writing a few months ago. But for me, anybody that I can help, I want to. So that's why Holiday Hearts means so much to me, because so many women, like I did for so many years, feel trapped. They feel like there's no way out. And I remember telling the police officers that this must be what I'm meant for in life, because I wasn't I was not cooperative at first when they first started talking to me. They're like, obviously, you're an abuse victim. Yeah, I am. But I guess this is my story. This is what I have to live out for the rest of my life. And I truly believed that. So I know, and I've spoken with other women who feel the same way. They feel trapped, that there's no escape. There's just, this is what they have to endure the rest of their lives. So if I can change just one life and let them know there's hope, if I can get out, anybody can get out. It was that bad for me. So that's why this means so much to me.
Okay. And see, I remember when I first brought the idea up to David, he was like, "Man, that's what you want to do for the kids, man. Count me in. I'm there." Because he met me as a kid, right? And I think back, like you said, when the little kids, it gets imprinted. My first memory is my father throwing a cinder block through the car windshield with me and my brother in the back seat. Like, I try to think back of something further than that, and that's as far as I can go. That's my very first memory. And I remember my mom in the front seat screaming, trying to start the engine, and it was like sputtering. It wouldn't turn over. And my dad was outside, man, and he was raging. And then he threw a cinder block through the front windshield of the car, and then started smashing out all the windows. And then I don't remember anything after that. Like, I don't remember anything after that for years. So, it's that's a part of it really becomes a part of you. And when you don't have access to it, when you don't think people care, right? Like, I actually used to get told that as a kid, that nobody cares, nobody cares, nobody cares. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't talk about nothing at home. Nobody really cares. It's just gonna be worse.
You'll make everything worse.
So, I was like, man, nobody cared. So there's no point in talking about it. So I was just a mad kid lashing out at the whole world because it's all I knew was violence. Right? And David can speak to that. When he met me, literally the first thing he said to me was like, "Look, dude, I read your record. Do you see this paper? This paper says I can fuck you up. Your mom signed it." Because just reading my record, I was out of control. Right? It just so happened that, David was able to see something in me that most people didn't. Because he
Yeah, I
recognized it.
did. Yeah, I just understood the pain. I
You see?
mean, everybody dealing with pain, and I just understood yours as a kid, you know,
Yeah.
and it took you a long time just think before you could. I mean, and you're still learning how to like manifest it in a positive way because all of us are dealing with like pain and hurt and anger, and then it's all about how we manifest it and how it comes out, and it comes out in violence and rage and and all kind of negative, when in actuality it should come out in much more sympathy and empathy, because it's all of us in some kind of way are dealing with some kind of hurt and pain and anger, because that's just what life gives you. So, I mean, I just choose to be on the side of love and trying to do something right. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm perfect because I'm far from it, but I just understand what side that I want to be on.
Yeah, I know. I know that's right. That's what side I'm trying to be on too. And it's a struggle. For real, in today's world, it's a struggle. It's a struggle to just be peaceful and just love, man, because when you try to, you're either met with resistance, right? Opposition, or just ignored, right? Because people think you're trying to get over them. They're gonna ignore you, or they're gonna be, nah, I don't want no parts of it. And they're gonna resist it. Right? And then you got other people who are just so angry that any type of positivity makes them want to lash out. because they're so miserable. So it's hard, man. I feel like it's hard to really love in this world, and that's why this holiday hearts thing is so important. Which is why I want to talk to y'all a little bit about what we doing, right? We got stuff for them to make little like beaded jewelries, right? Personalized bracelets and things, right? We got a little jewelry station.
Mm-hmm.
We gonna have an
Got an arts tape, like a
origami section where they can make little paper things, and
like
I'm
a
gonna
little.
teach them how to make. I'm gonna teach them how to make the roses out of toilet paper that I used to make when I was incarcerated and I was sent out, right? And I got a whole thing I'm working on that I'm gonna use it to try and
It's like a little drawing, like
right.
paper station.
We also
I have
got.
one of those roses.
I know
I
you do.
still have it.
In storage.
Anyway, I'm gonna show them about that, and I got a whole little like just inspirational, motivational little talk I'm gonna do for the kids, right? Because sometimes the most beautiful things come from the simplest beginning, and it don't get much more simple than toilet paper.
Oh my
You see what I'm saying?
Good. That's good.
Figured the kids could appreciate that. Um,
And then we got a t-shirt station.
we got a t-shirt station. We ordered some iron-on designs where they could just we got a little press in, and we gonna take them. They can put the designs they want on their t-shirt. And we also got some fabric markers that they can tag their shirts however they want to.
Yeah, so they can draw on it. They can do iron-ons. We got transfers, so they could pick like what they want. It's like little cutesy animals and stuff like that, saying having a moo day, with like a cow on it, for example. Just like, cheesy little cute things. So we got a couple of those, and we got some with typically farm animals. So we figured that would be a good hit, because they're kind of silly and goofy, but cute.
And then the only other thing that we're still trying to get together is the money for the supplies for the shelter, which is what my post was about.
And the art kits and the wellness gifts.
Some of the wellness kits and the blankets, we're still trying to get those together. And the reason I want to do the blankets is because, especially here in Colorado, but even in fucking Virginia, I can't tell you the times I've been in the car with my siblings and my mom just under a blanket. Just one blanket is all we had. So the blankets are really important to me because, man, sometimes it was a blanket that for real kept me alive when I was a kid. Like, that ain't even no bullshit. I done been in situations so cold.
That's the only thing keeping you warm.
That's all we had, man.
That and body heat from each other, you know what I'm saying?
I would
Yeah.
get passed between my mom and my sister and my older brothers, right? I would go in between them. And that's how we keep warm. I done been there. So the blankets are really important to me. Right. And I wanted to put some wellness things in there, like simple things for on the go, like little travel toothbrush, toothpaste, things like that. Because sometimes when you living like that and you got to go, man, you don't got nothing. I know what that's like, man, to not be able to brush your teeth too. So that's why this has been so important to me. I done lived all of it. I done did it. You know what I mean?
The blankets also provide a sense of security for kids. Lyric still carries her blanket from when she was an infant. She's had it for 7 years. And I asked her one time, and this is one of the reasons I know she remembers. She's like, it kept me safe from the mean man. And she was talking about, of course, my former husband.
And that's the thing. So right now, the goal was we wanted to have one blanket per person, and it's been.
I was actually kind of shocked at the lack of support for this event that we got. And I understand that a lot of people are going through a lot of things right now. But
Yeah, the timing ain't the best with what's going on
yeah.
in the society. But just tell me this part.
gift cards from any place, any major chains, like where you can find this store anywhere, like McDonald's, or Burger King, whatever, Starbucks, anything like that. Because man, and I'm specifically naming food places because I remember I've actually walked a day, an entire day, as a child to eat a sandwich, and then when I'm eating a sandwich, get beat in the back of the head while I'm eating the bitch. Like that was my childhood, so I know what it's like to be hungry too, man. And I'm really hoping that I can do something for these families to let them know that they're, hey, even if you feel like people don't care about you, there are people out there that they don't even know that they don't even know you exist and they care about you.
That have walked that same path with you, that have walked that journey. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know what I mean? And what can I do besides try and fix what I went through, right? If we ain't living every day to make tomorrow better, what are we doing it for? Like, what you doing it for? What you getting up and going to work for? Right? What you taking a shower and brushing your teeth? What you doing it for? If you ain't doing it every day to make tomorrow better, what are you doing it for?
What are you working towards? Because some people in today's society, it feels like, we're just drifting, like we're just punching the clock, right? And going home. And we wake up the next day, but it's like there's gotta be more to life than just that. You know what I'm saying? And it's so, and we talked about community before, right, David? We talked about, the community of our childhood and those memories of those block parties and the barbecues and that real sense of community. And it's like, that's all we want back, right? Is to bring that same feeling of when you felt safe and you felt seen, but you felt like an individual at the same time, but not held to like a standard, just accepted for all your faults, for all your good parts and your bad parts. You were just accepted. And it feels like in today's society, we've lost that empathy, we've lost that acceptance amongst one another. I don't know. What do you think, Heather?
Right now in society, it almost feels like everybody wants to be against each other. It's it's heartbreaking because it's not just a lack of community, it's almost a war zone in our country. It's everybody wants to find fault with everybody else. Everybody wants to think their side is better, and especially those who have seem to be very judgmental against those who don't have. The more poor, the more marginalized people in society, they seem to be condemning them as with this sense of, well, they deserve it. And no child or adult deserves abuse, homelessness, being out on the street, being hungry. Nobody deserves that. And we've got to find a way to come together and get past that again. And like you said, get empathy back into our society. It's sad. It's heartbreaking.
It is. It really is, man. I had mentioned on one of David's Facebook posts the other day where he was talking about those all the food industry, all the businesses in the food industry, their policy is to throw away their leftover food or food that is undesirable.
Yeah.
Throw away, but why?
It's still technically good.
Like
Yeah,
why
that's lost.
why do people have to go hungry though?
For as much food as the world produces, how do we still have hunger is the question.
Why?
Yeah,
And
it's
and the crazy thing is, why do we have to pay so much for food?
right.
We need it to live, literally.
We have farmers that are producing our food. Why aren't we making a way for them to produce food to be able to give it to us cheaper? Right? Like we're
I,
losing farmers at an alarming rate. We're there are some countries that are concerned about even parts of America are concerned about the amount of farmers they're lacking because people are failing to see the point like, man, there's not really enough money in it. There's a lot of work. See what I'm saying? Like, why do that?
but at the same time, politically, they've been told to throw away their food. Um,
Man.
and there's even, I recently found out, and you can look this up, it's true. There is, in Missouri, there is some underground storage of some type that has over 1 billion pounds of cheese in it, just sitting there. And yet people are going hungry in our country. So it's not lack of food, it's waste, it's refusal to feed those who need it.
That's exactly what it is. It's it's refusal to care about anything that doesn't affect you personally. That's where we become as a
Or
as a country,
that
as
you
a
can't
people.
benefit from either, right? If you can't benefit from it, then it has no value, right? From a company perspective.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the thing is like we so like I gotta get mine, I gotta get mine, I gotta get mine that we like how did we just become a species that literally all we do is step on each other and exploit each other?
The sad thing is, none of us know what tomorrow brings, and some of the people who supposedly have a lot of money, they're one illness, one accident, one experience away from being on the other side of the story, where you don't know. We never know. No part of me ever thought the man I married was going to turn out to be as abusive, or abusive at all, let alone as abusive as he was, where I had to get out. There was no other. I was going to end up dead if I didn't get out. And we don't know. We never know what tomorrow is going to bring. But people just assume they're always going to have enough, so they judge others. We didn't used to be that way.
Hey, David, what are your thoughts? I can see you weighing some heavy thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was for a second, I was like getting so many negative thoughts, and I was like, oh, please just stay quiet and don't say them. But man, you know how crazy it sounds for us to have people hungry and in the same sense talk about how we have to throw away food. That's
Hmm.
like an oxymoron in a way. That doesn't even make sense, right? But that's
And
the
I've heard,
law.
yeah.
So look, and this is the part where I don't want to get negative, but it almost seems like they want people hungry. They want
Well, I was
people
gonna say
starving,
some
right?
companies
Like
even
like
go as far
no,
as
I'm talking about our
destroying the
government.
food.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Like
what I'm
they
saying. They
want
go as far as like destroying the food so that they can't actually take the
to make
food out of the
sure, yeah,
garbage and everything.
right,
That's the
right,
crazy
because this
part.
man, now you see it almost like, man, we want to make sure just in case if you were to try to get industrial enough to go and get it out the garbage, we're gonna make it so you can't do that either.
Yep.
That's crazy,
Like
right?
yeah,
That's
like
the policy.
we want to
That's
make
the
sure
policy for
you're
pet food
hungry.
too.
Mm.
They do the same thing for pet food. That's the policy for pet food.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
So
So
food of all
that's
kinds
just
just being wasted.
Yeah.
But and that's why this holiday heart thing is so important, man, because these individuals are already going through a really, really hard time. And let's be honest, for the most part, if you in anywhere in society right now, you probably think nobody really cares. Right? Now, and the reason I wanted to do the art was because it's an outlet. It's a healthy outlet.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm doing so many different types of art, right? Because you can paint, you can do the origami, you can do the t-shirts, you can do the jewelry. What do you want to do? Right? This is an outlet for you.
Not only that, but also for the parents, right? To give them a moment to just be able to sit down and just enjoy their children for without having to stress for a minute. You know what I mean? Like just giving that moment. I can't tell you, I mean, Heather, you know what I mean? You understand my mom is, has lived that same life, you know what I mean? a moment of peace is so much, you know what I mean? When you have been dealing with and most people, I think we said the statistic was most victims return to their abuser 7 times before they finally get away. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna say right now, the only reason we was in that shelter when I was a kid, it wasn't because my mom was trying to run away from the getting beat up. It's because we ain't have nowhere else to go. You know what I mean? As soon as we could go back to my dad's, that's where we went.
As a child who was raised watching, and me personally, I didn't realize that was not the normal until one of my siblings had a friend stay the night. And when stuff happens, it always happens when my stepdad started drinking. Next thing you know, he's trying to push my mom off a 2-story balcony, has her by her throat, hanging her off backwards. And there's not just us this time, there's other people in the house, and this kid's freaking out. And I'm like, what why are you freaking out? Like, oh, don't worry, like, if he tries to like throw her, we'll just grab her legs, it's cool. You know what I mean? Like, we're over here as the kids got plans, and this guy's in the corner rocking himself crying. And that's when I realized, okay, maybe our world isn't quite so normal. Because when you're raised in it, you don't know any different, right? You think
Yeah,
everybody's family is like your family.
yeah.
Yeah. So
If you can't have empathy for hungry people, it's almost like I mean you're not even human. You know what I mean? I mean that's like
Especially
the most.
children.
Yeah, well, really anybody, but like you said, especially
Yeah.
children. Man, I remember when I lived in Chicago, I'd have some neighbor. Man, you know, a little kid is hungry when he knock on the door, and he don't have any food in particular. He just like, can I have anything to eat? You know, a kid will usually want something in particular. Something sweet, a cookie. Man, I had neighbors that lived on my block, and the kids would knock on the door, and I'd be making sandwiches because they were just that hungry. You gotta take care of the kids.
yeah, so that's why it's important. That's why I wanted to do the gift cards to the restaurants, man, because a lot of time when you want to run or you want to move, trying to get away from somebody or trying to stay ahead of something or just because you ain't got nowhere else to go, man, that could come in handy. So that was the other big thing I wanted to get was the gift cards. And I felt like $25 per family, you know what I mean? That ain't, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
that's just something.
that's just
That's
something.
something better than
Especially
nothing.
because a lot of these families have multiple children, you know what I'm saying? And
Yep,
let's be
yep.
honest, that gets kind of pricey when you have, 2 to 3 kids each. And my mom was a single mom, you know what I mean? And she was raising 2 babies on her own, and she lived above the bar that she worked at when we were kids, you know what I mean? Because my mom got pregnant when she was young. And so when she finally met my stepdad, of course he looks like Prince Charming. He took her out of that life, and you know what I mean? But it came with a cost, right? So with all good things, there was a a darker lining. Like, hey, I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna make it where you don't have to work. You can be a stay-at-home mom. You can, raise the kids. You can do all these things you always wanted, but I control this house. What I say goes. And if you don't like it, then I will put you in your place.
Those are the reasons that I put holiday hearts together and that is so important to me. I appreciate all of y'all and all the support that y'all have given to make this happen. I'm really looking forward to the one in December because this will be my first time going back to that shelter since I was a kid.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. It's
Yeah.
gonna be cathartic for you. It's gonna help you understand just how far you come. This thing helping the helping a place that helped you when you was a kid. You know how good and far you come in life to be able to even just say that to go back and help a place that helped you. And you're not even
Yeah,
old. Not even an
Right? I
old
keep
man.
telling him that.
Man,
Yeah.
He act like 35 is so old.
So what the fuck? So what about him? He would be in jail telling me how he was gonna take care of my old ass. I've never heard a person in jail talk like that. Normally, it's about the help they need. He would be in jail telling me how when he get out, how he was gonna take care of me. I was like, man, I can't even tell you how you would make me feel after those conversations. I'd be like, man,
yeah,
that's special. He's like, I
yeah,
got you, pops, when I get out, y'all.
I got you.
Yeah, dude, I'm just saying you don't never hear people talk like that. Not incarcerated, right?
Well, I try to do my time a little different.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. It wasn't easy though.
No,
Like it wasn't easy. I spent for real almost the first year just with my own head and my own thoughts by myself. I couldn't really get on the phone. You know, I'm a 23-hour lockdown in a cell by myself.
yeah.
So, I really had to deal with some personal, some personal shit.
Yep,
Real young.
yep, yep,
He had a
yep,
whole
yep.
year to sit and contemplate with himself.
Yeah,
Yeah. And this is why holiday hearts are so
Back to
important.
holiday hearts.
yeah, yeah,
Because I
yeah.
was
No,
in that environment. I was there when I really got into art. When I learned
yeah,
to escape my own shit in my head.
yeah,
Like that's
yep.
what art really does. Damn, escaping everything in the outside world. Art gives you a place for that shit in your head.
Right, because that's all that matters. That's really all that
So
matters, dude. Is the in your head part,
exactly, and that's why I
right?
want to take these kids. These right now, these kids is dealing with things that kids shouldn't be dealing with.
Yep.
Homelessness, running from people, being afraid, things like that.
Man, man. Just the
And
instability, man. You deserve to be living in a more stable environment. I mean, man, the kids just deserve a chance, man.
so I can't help them. I can't give them a place of safety. I don't got that right now. But if I can
Yeah,
give them a place where they can escape that shit that's built in their own head before it starts tearing them up from the inside, if I can give them a place to escape, right? That it took me being locked in a box to figure out
right.
before it's too late for them. Maybe I can keep them from going through some of that same shit I seen.
Well,
Yep,
not only that, but you're also reinforcing the sense of community to them that hey, you aren't forgotten. You're not unseen. You know what I mean? That we see you and we care and we want to share this moment with you as well, you know?
Yeah.
So I was gonna say, that's it for our episode. So I was gonna say, Heather, do you have any final thoughts you would like to share with our listeners? Any kind of message you would like to send to them?
I just want to encourage anyone listening to please donate whatever you can, because every little bit helps and it will make a huge difference in the life of a child, because the cycle has to be broken. If it's not broken, that child will grow up to be angry and to probably be an abuser themselves. So please dig deep and donate, support somehow, however you can.
David, is there anything you'd like to say to our listeners before we hop off?
just to be on the right side, just to be on the right side, which is the love side. Do something good. Do something good for another human being.
All right, and then Jesse.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got a message. I wanna say anybody out there right now, whether you live in domestic violence, whether you're somebody who's being abused, or you're that person who just can't control themselves, right? You just feel like you hate yourself and you can't explain why you do what you do. Look, bruh, just get help. Talk to somebody. Reach out. There are people that care. either side. If you on either side of domestic violence, man, talk to somebody. Because a lot of times when people hurt people that they care about, they don't feel good about it, right? They just feel stuck, helpless, trapped. Get help, man. Talk to somebody. Find outlets. Stop it. Just stop it.
And then for myself, for closing, I would just say anybody who feels like they are in a situation that they aren't safe, you know what I mean? If you feel that you're in a place, please just tell someone, get help, let us know, you know what I'm saying? Just let somebody know. So then that way people can start helping you maybe get out of that situation. We have resources, we have partnerships with domestic violence shelters. So please use us to connect with these other partnerships, because that's what they're there for. And if you're afraid or if you're scared, because, you know, I was told the same thing as a kid, you know what I mean? We don't talk about what goes on at home. You talk about what goes on at home, it's going to be a lot worse for you when you get home. So you just don't say anything. And I get that, but we also have to break that mentality, because if you are not safe, if your loved ones are not safe, what's to stop them from being here tomorrow? You can't guarantee that. Nobody can. But what you can guarantee is that you start helping them, that you start helping them get out of that situation. That's where we'll pause for today. Thank you for being part of this space, for listening, reflecting, and holding these conversations with us. If something stayed with you or stirred something new, we'd love to hear it. Your voice matters here. If there's a story you think we should tell or a question we should sit with, reach out. This is a shared journey, one conversation at a time.